Ryan was a quiet, thoughtful 17-year-old who preferred late-night video games over parties. Life was ordinary until the dreams started. Every night, for 5 nights in a row, he had the same nightmare. He'd find himself standing at the top of the staircase in his house. Everything would be dark, silent. The only light came from the faint glow of the hallway downstairs. And then he'd see it. A tall, faceless figure slowly walking toward the stairs. No sound, no expression, just an overwhelming sense of dread. Every time, Ryan would wake up drenched in sweat, heart racing. The figure still burned into his vision. On the 6th night, Ryan was done. He told himself it was just stress, an overactive imagination. So he made a decision. He would stay awake until 3 a.m. If he wasn't asleep, the dream couldn't come. He set up his phone, turned on a horror podcast to keep him alert, and sat on his bed, eyes fixed on the time. As the clock struck 3 a.m., something changed. The air in his room grew cold, unnaturally cold. The type of chill that sinks into your bones and tightens your chest. The podcast app glitched for a second and restarted. And then, buzz. His phone vibrated with a push notification. Motion detected, front hall camera. His blood ran cold. Hands trembling, Ryan opened the app and looked at the live feed. At the bottom of the staircase stood the same figure from his dream, tall, motionless, faceless. Exactly where it always was in the nightmare, only now it was real. Ryan didn't know what to do. He locked his door, turned off his lights, and hid under his desk, whispering to himself that he was still dreaming, that this wasn't happening. He called 911. When the police arrived 15 minutes later, the house was locked from the inside. Nothing was missing. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. The camera footage? Corrupted. Just static where the figure had been. They told him it was probably a malfunction or a prank. But Ryan knew better. He never had that dream again. Because now he doesn't sleep. He can't. He's too afraid that next time, the figure won't just stand there. Emma was 29 and successful on the outside, good job, quiet life, neat apartment. But underneath it all, she carried a silent weight, the death of her little brother, Daniel, who drowned when they were children. She was 13. He was 8. They'd gone to the lake near their family's cabin for a summer weekend. Her parents left her in charge for just 5 minutes. She never saw him come back out of the water. The loss shattered the family. Her parents divorced a year later. Emma grew up fast, quiet, guilt-ridden, and alone. For a long time, she buried the memory like it never existed. But then the dreams started. Over 10 years after the accident, Daniel began visiting her in her sleep. Only he wasn't 8 anymore. He looked like her, aged up, like how he might have grown if he had lived. In the dreams, they'd be at the lake again, the same murky water. He'd stand waist-deep, calling her name. His voice was calm, but it wasn't just dreams anymore. It was something else. She finally broke down and told her therapist. The woman calmly said it was likely unresolved childhood trauma, a guilt loop manifesting through nightmares. But Emma felt different. She didn't feel haunted by guilt. She felt haunted by him. One night, in the dream, Daniel didn't speak. He just stared at her from the water and pointed to a shadowy spot in the lake near the old family cabin. Then, for the first time, he smiled. When Emma woke up, she made a decision. After 15 years, she returned to the lake. The cabin was still standing, weathered, cold, filled with echoes of childhood. She didn't go inside. She went straight to the shore. With shaking hands, she called a local diver and explained what she was looking for. He seemed skeptical but agreed. Carlos was no stranger to pressure. Raising his 4-year-old daughter, Maya, alone after her mother passed away 2 years ago, had turned him into a man of routine and responsibility. Every bottle washed, every bedtime story read, every daycare pickup on time, it was all part of the rhythm that kept his world stable. But one night, that rhythm began to fracture. Carlos had a dream. Not just a flicker, but a vivid, terrifying nightmare. He was in his apartment, holding Maya, but the air was growing dark, choked with smoke. He rushed to the door, but it was warped shut, sealed by heat. The hallway outside flickered orange with distant flames. The only thing left was the kitchen window. He woke up sweating, gasping, heart hammering like a drum in his chest. He brushed it off, just stress, he told himself. But the next night, it came again. Same dream. Smoke. Silence. No alarm. A blocked hallway. The kitchen window. The third night, he felt panic before the smoke even appeared. In the dream, he screamed for help but heard nothing. Maya's small hand gripped his shirt as the dream collapsed into blackness. He woke up sobbing. That morning, Carlos sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for a long time. Something felt wrong, not just in his head but in the air. He called his sister. "I keep dreaming about fire, always at night, always the same. I can't explain it, but I feel like it's more than a dream." She chuckled nervously. "You sound like Mom. You sure you're not just anxious? Maybe take a few days off." He smiled politely, but he wasn't laughing. There was something in the weight of that dream, something too real. Later that day, Carlos went into action mode, like he always did when scared. He bought 2 new smoke detectors and tested every single one. Unstuck the kitchen window, which had always been tough to open. Checked the escape plan, even told Maya where to go if something happened. Kept her home from daycare, saying she had a cough. She didn't. He still didn't fully understand why. Only that he felt like time was ticking. That night was quiet. Until 2:44 a.m. Carlos awoke suddenly, not to a noise, but to a smell. Burning plastic. He sat up. Then he heard it. A soft crackling below the floor. He opened the bedroom door and nearly collapsed. Thick black smoke poured in like a wave. The hallway was glowing faintly orange. He could feel the heat. He grabbed Maya, threw a jacket over her, and ran for the kitchen. The window, now fixed, slid open with ease. Did someone warn me? Was it fate? A guardian? Or just the part of me that refuses to let her down? Whatever it was, it saved their lives. And he'll never ignore a dream again.